Hey guys, what's going on? Jeb here, and in today's video, we have some important news to discuss on Bitcoin, but also in the traditional finance markets, because in this video, we're going to do a little bit of technical analysis on Bitcoin, but the main thing I want us to actually focus on is the US stock market, because as you can see, the S&P 500 has reached and passed all-time highs in the middle of the biggest economic financial crisis the modern world has ever seen. And that brings about a lot of questions, but the number one biggest one is, why the hell is the stock market in a massive rally while a third of America is out of work and while the rest of the world is still recovering from the news virus? So guys, in today's video, we're going to be discussing the stock market. We're going to be discussing some billionaires that are fleeing the stock market. We're going to be talking about gold, and we're going to be talking about Bitcoin, and we're going to be giving a lot of value out in today's video. So if you do enjoy today's video, as always, consider hitting that like and subscribe button down below. It really helps out the channel when you do that. And it's come to my attention that almost 40% of you guys are not subscribed to the channel. So I'm looking at you, Johnson. Subscribe to the channel. It's free. It helps us out quite a bit also, so thank you. Before we get started, I do want to mention that the price of CT2A is going to be increasing in 2 days. On September the 1st, it's going to be going up by another $50. So if you guys want to get started learning what you need to know to understand how to profitably trade in these markets, I highly encourage you to join us with the link in the description down below while the offer lasts. Because guys, when the price goes up, it's not going back down. This is the cheapest you're ever going to get the Academy for. So if you're interested, the link is in the description down below. More on that at the end of the video. But for now, though, guys, without much further ado, let's go ahead and dive right on into it. Warren Buffett is one of the richest men on earth, and like him or hate him, you gotta admit, he probably knows a thing or two about the stock market, considering the stock market is exactly how he became worth, what, $70 billion nowadays? Warren Buffett is a technical indicator in his own right, and you would be wise to follow what he is doing very closely, pay attention to it, and see if the reasoning behind what he is doing matches the reasoning behind what you're doing. And if not, you might want to ask yourself the question, why is that? And that's the first thing that we're going to be discussing in today's video, is Warren Buffett, the fundamental / technical indicator. Warren Buffett signals a huge market crash is coming. Before we get started with our analysis of Warren Buffett, the technical indicator, we need to first look at the S&P 500, this being it, because as you can see here on the SPY, a few days ago, we broke all-time high from around 339 points all the way up to $350 now. This market is up 60% in the last 160 days during, I kid you not, this is not clickbait, I am dead factually serious, the biggest economic crisis that we have ever seen as a country and a nation and as a first world, as a modern civilization. We have never seen an economic pullback this severe. And I'm including the Great Depression in that. The last 150 years, we have never seen such a quick pullback in GDP. America's GDP is down 30% in a quarter. Quarter two, we dropped 31%. By the way, GDP normally grows around 1 to 2% a quarter. We dropped 30%. Same thing with unemployment. For 1 week, we saw something like 6 million unemployment claims. There are tens of millions of people still out of work in America and around the world. I have heard well-respected economists say that business class travel and travel in general may not come back to the way that it was pre-COVID for a decade. 10 years it may take for the airline industry to recover for this. I want to stress to you just how severe the economic climate is right now. And I also want to make another point, which is when you see these kinds of immediate black swan events in the economy, a lot of times the actual effects of that pullback, the actual effects of that economic uncertainty may not show for between 2 to 24 months, depending on the market that you're talking about. Real estate, for example, we haven't even seen the worst of it yet. Huge portion of the economy, we have not even seen the impacts of what has happened yet. Certainly not the most severe ones. So why is the S&P 500 at all-time high? Well, quite simply, the reason that the S&P 500 is at all-time high is because it consists of the 500 largest companies, and the 500 largest companies are the companies that are doing the best. Think about it. Fortune 500 companies are obviously going to have either one, the federal government behind them to bail them out if they start to go under, because the federal government doesn't want some of our biggest infrastructure companies like the airlines and electronics producers to go under, because that would spell disaster for the long-term outlook of the economy, not just the short-term outlook, but they're also sitting on larger wads of cash. Apple, for example, before all of this started, had $250 billion, with a T, dollars worth of cash on hand. So that is why the stock market is rallying despite the economy being in the crapper. But you have to realize the economy is eventually going to catch up with even these larger companies, and it will affect the stock market, and a crash to the stock market is almost certain. And that's what leads us into this story about Warren Buffett. Because you see, Warren Buffett isn't worth $80 billion for no reason. The 90-year-old CEO of Berkshire Hathaway, one of the biggest companies on the planet, became that wealthy for a reason. And it's because, like him or hate him, I'm not getting into that debate, he knows a thing or two about the stock market. He knows a thing or two about gold and economics. He understands what's going on right now. At 90 years old, he's a much better investor than you or I can guarantee you that. And as we can see, despite never really liking gold all that much, he just took a position in gold and bought $21 million worth of shares from a gold producer in Canada. Berkshire Hathaway, again, one of the largest companies on the planet, just bought back $5.1 billion worth of its own stock. And this is the crazy thing. Warren Buffett just liquidated most of his stocks, which is strange when you think about it, because what's going on right now, a lot of people would say, is going to cause stupid amounts of inflation in the US dollar, and then they'd also look at the stock market and say, wait a minute, the stock market is going to all-time high, so why is one of the biggest stock market investors on the planet pulling out of the stock market if it's rallying to all-time highs? Why is he taking profit if the market looks healthy? And on top of that, why would he be putting his money into actual physical cash that is supposed to be going through inflation right now? The reason is because he sees something that a lot of us may not see. And that is that while the stock market is doing well right now, it's built on a house of cards and it's going to come crashing down. You can mark my words, relatively soon, and by relatively soon, I mean in the next 2 to 3 years, probably less time than that, there is going to be another huge market crash, but like we're talking 20 to 40% here. And I don't know, the SPY might rally to $1,000 before that happens, but there is going to be a major, major crash because the economic ramifications of the lockdowns are nowhere near over. I promise you that. To keep the economy from absolutely disintegrating, we are borrowing from the future economic growth. And for the next 10 years, economic growth and outlook is going to suffer because of the the actions that we've taken here in 2020 to stop the bleeding. But what does this have to do with Bitcoin? Billionaires fleeing the stock market, how does that actually apply to our favorite cryptocurrency? Well, as you guys may remember, I said in yesterday's video, for me to be comfortable calling a new rally, I want to see Bitcoin get above the 20 daily EMA. Well, as you can see, Bitcoin is now trading above the 20 daily EMA at $11,630. Looks like we're going into a new rally. We have seen not one, but actually 2 green, red, green formations back to back. That is definitely relatively bullish. The next thing that we need to see now is we need to see volume return, and we need to see Bitcoin be bullish on an actual weekday, because today is Sunday, and Bitcoin may be about to go into a new rally. And with Bitcoin going back into that rally, and with the stock market being so uncertain, guys, when that correction in the stock market happens, I mean, we're already seeing people flee stocks, by the way. That's part of the reason that Bitcoin's rallying. That's the reason that gold is at all-time high right now, is because people are fleeing the stock market. That is invariably going to be a good thing for Bitcoin, because Bitcoin has proven its solvency and its ability to continue rallying during economic turmoil, because we were one of the fastest recovering markets in the entire world. People are seeing that Bitcoin is a safe investment, which is really one of the biggest concerns a lot of investors had about Bitcoin was, is this too risky of an investment for me to want to put more than 0.5% of my portfolio into? But now that Bitcoin has recovered so quickly and is reaching new local highs during this economic turmoil, people are looking from the stock market over and saying, a little cryptocurrency market's doing pretty good, huh? I might throw some in there once we get around all-time high again. Yeah, I might do that. That's what a lot of people are thinking right now. And I wouldn't be surprised to see other billionaires starting to put money not only into gold like Warren Buffett is, but into Bitcoin. Now, I don't expect Warren Buffett particularly to put any money in Bitcoin, because he has been very anti-technology and anti-electronic in his investing. He normally invests in brick-and-mortar stores, and his company, Berkshire Hathaway, again, is a real estate company. I wouldn't necessarily expect him as an individual to be investing in Bitcoin, but I could definitely see some of his contemporaries doing the same and bulling and putting money into the cryptocurrency market. Cryptocurrency and blockchain are 2 separate industries, but they're both growing very, very quickly, and people and outside observers are going to see that. So, guys, the short-term TA is, yeah, it looks like Bitcoin might be putting in a turnaround and a reversal, and we should be able to be more certain on that tomorrow, depending on what Bitcoin does. But the long-term outlook on Bitcoin, guys, with what's going on in the global economy, with what is going to come to the stock market, it is overwhelmingly bullish for Bitcoin, and I couldn't be more excited. Guys, I am so incredibly pumped about where Bitcoin is going, and I want to hear your take in the comment section down below. Do you think Bitcoin is going back to $20,000 this year, in the next 12 months, maybe in 2021? I'd love to hear your opinions down there. I always love reading you guys' comments. There are over 100,000 comments on this channel now, and I have read every one of them. It's hard. Well, close to every one of them. Let's be honest here. I'm going to miss some every once in a while, but I do try and read every one of them. Even if I don't have time to get back to every one of you, I do try and read as many of them as possible because I just love the engagement that we have here, guys. We just passed 54,000 subscribers. Holy cow, that's awesome, because I remember a little over a year ago we had 20,000, and now we're almost at 60,000. Mind blown. Anyway, guys, that is going to more or less wrap it out for today's video. Before we go, though, I do want to mention CT2A because the price of the Academy will be increasing in 2 days. So if you'd like to get into the Academy now, while the price is still lower than it will be in a week from now, I would encourage you to do so. We do have a full 14-day money-back refund guarantee. Yes, we do accept Bitcoin payments. Shoot us an email at cryptojeb@gmail.com and get started learning everything you need to know to actually trade and profit in these markets. It's a very simple skill. Guys, there is a disconnect in cryptocurrency markets, and it is this. Trading Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies is one of the most profitable ways to make money on the internet, but a lot of people aren't able to succeed in that. You know what keeps people from succeeding in one of the best ways to make money on the internet? The only thing that stops people from being successful trading in these markets is education and working on themselves and self-improvement. Guys, I am dedicated to self-improvement, and I want to preach that from the rooftops because it's what saved me, and it's what has helped so many of you guys, is continually investing in yourself and in your mind. Guys, investing in your mind is the greatest investment you will ever make. I have always said that, and I always will. So if you would like to invest in your mind and take the next step so that you can actually work on being profitable in this market and taking your profitability to the next level so that you can change your life and the lives of the people around you and help those in need, invest in yourself so that you can properly invest in Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. Guys, that is going to wrap it out for today's video. But before I go, though, I do just seriously and humbly want to thank each and every single last one of you for watching, as always, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.